President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, GCON, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, GCON, Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Deputy President of the Senate, my dear brother, the Junior Senator Barao Jibrin, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, my other brother, Ben Kalu, CFR, Principal Officers of the Senate and Principal Officers of the House of Representatives, distinguished senators and honorable members of the House of Representatives. Let me use this opportunity to greet all our executive governors who found time to be here. You are all welcome. And also greet all former principal officers and presiding officers particularly who found time to be here. Members of the Federal Executive Council, ambassadors and high commissioners here present, former presiding officers earlier mentioned, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and Chief of Staff to Mr. President and former Speaker, Right Honorable Gbajabiamila Amila, the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, the Clerk to the National Assembly, the Service Chiefs who came to honor this Democracy Day, National Chairman of all political parties, especially the only political party in Nigeria, very relevant today, His Excellency Governor Ganduje, and Chairman All Progressives Congress. Our royal fathers who are here with us, Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission and his commissioners, Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, Clerk of the Senate and Clerk of the House of Representatives, Secretaries of Directorates of the National Assembly, National Assembly Management Staff, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Democracy Day. Mr. President, on this hallowed floor, this is where the voices of the people find expression through their representatives. We are deeply honored to welcome you, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to the chambers of the National Assembly. For the second time, you have honored this chamber on Democracy Day, realizing that the National Assembly remains the bastion of democracy in any nation. So we welcome you, sir. Your presence here rekindles the memory of a very long and courageous journey, marked by struggles, sacrifices, and unyielding belief in the ideals of democracy. That you, Mr. President, a veteran of the trenches of the fight for democracy, a symbol of democratic resistance, and a beneficiary of the people's trust, now stand before us or sit before us. To speak to your people, your parliamentarians and the nation and the global community is nothing short of providence. The National Assembly is very proud to host you, our President, our compatriot, and one of our own, as a distinguished senator forever, as we fulfill the solemn constitutional duty of addressing the nation through us. This chamber honors you not merely as the President of Nigeria, but as one of the architects of the very democratic foundation that we commemorate today. We gather not to mourn injustice, but to honor resilience. We observe not the triumph of politicians. Angry students marched, journalists spoke, mothers wailed, workers downed their tools, fathers stood before tanks, and young men and women whose only crime was believing in democracy laid down their lives. May their souls rest in peace. They died because they loved Nigeria They loved Nigeria enough to fight for her soul. This was not just a rejection of oppression, but the beginning of a national reawakening, signifying a rebirth as well as a reckoning. The intro of Chief Moshood Abiola campaign song captured the spirit of that day. Nigeria on the march again. Indeed, Nigeria was on the march towards democracy. But that cruel announcement turned the march for democracy into a march for justice. Many, including Your Excellency, stood tall in those days of darkness, while others chose silence and others chose compromise. You chose to exhibit courage, rare courage. At great personal cost, NADECO, which you were part of, helped sustain the flame of liberty when it was most at risk of going out, even to say a word. So as we mark this day, let us remember those who bled so we could vote, those who took risks so we could speak, those who were buried so that freedom might rise. Let us also pay tribute to all those who played pivotal roles in Nigeria's democratic transition. This year's theme, 26 years of democracy, renewing our commitment to national development, is not a slogan. It is a call to purpose, a reminder that democracy is not an end, but a means to national transformation in the future of this country called Nigeria. Likewise, the 10th National Assembly, which marks its second anniversary today, June 13, which ought to be tomorrow, but we are marking it today, has played its part with diligence and distinction. From its inception, the 10th National Assembly demonstrated, and is demonstrating, a renewed vigor towards addressing the country's complex issues and challenges through purposeful legislations. This commitment is reflected in its extraordinary output. A total of 844 bills have been introduced within its first 2 years, 844 bills. An unprecedented figure that underscores the Senate's and the House of Representatives' proactive posture towards tackling pressing national issues. Out of this impressive volume, 107 bills are currently at the committee stages, undergoing the necessary scrutiny and stakeholders' engagement that will ensure quality legislation. 206 bills in the Senate are awaiting first reading, reflecting a robust pipeline of legislative ideas prepared to ensure the formal introduction, and 409 bills have also advanced to second stages in the Senate. I'm sure my brother will mention the ones in the House of Reps. Notably, the Senate so far has passed 96 bills, a record for any Nigerian Senate within 2 years only. At this stage, the legislative cycle, even more significantly, 52 of these bills have been assented to by Mr. President, translating into enforceable laws that will shape the governance of this country. Economic development, public welfare, and national security. These bills include the National Education Fund, local government autonomy, as earlier stated, regional development commissions, tax reforms. Universities have been established, particularly in the areas of agriculture. And most thank you also for the University of Environment established in Ogoniland, long ravaged by oil exploration and exploitation. You saw the need to establish that institution to remediate the terrible situation of the Niger Delta. We thank you. The 10th Senate has acted decisively on 26 executive bills, showcasing a healthy balance of cooperation and oversight in its engagement with the executive arm. These executive-sponsored legislations address key policy issues that will benefit not just the Senate, but Nigerians as a whole. And we have done this through thorough review and refinement. Beyond bills, the National Assembly has received over 100 petitions from Nigerian citizens and civil societies. This is a testimony to the public trust in the institution. Of these, 28 petitions have been fully adopted, providing redress, transparency, and institutional accountability. History teaches us that nations make the greatest progress when the executive arm that governs us has vision and the legislature guides with wisdom. But they prosper most when both work hand in hand, not as rivals. Democracy is not a gift, it is a trust that we must protect. To the youth, we must not treat democracy with apathy. To the civil society, we must not let memory fade. To the media, we must be held accountable through responsible journalism. And to every Nigerian, democracy must not be reduced to election days. It must live in our values, it must live in our institutions, and it must live in our daily lives. So let us preserve the memory of June 12. I respectfully urge Mr. President that we consider the establishment of a June 12 museum, a living archive where the stories, artifacts, struggles, and sacrifices of our leaders and the democratic movement will be housed, preserved, and taught, and let nations learn from the past losses of our dear country. And this will remain a moral compass for the future generations. As President of the Senate, I reaffirm the unwavering commitment of the 10th National Assembly to the cause of the Nigerian people. We must continue to champion every policy that uplifts the poor, empowers our youth, strengthens our economy, and defend the dignity of every citizen of this nation. We owe it to those who fought. We owe it to those who fell. We owe it to those who still believe. May we never again betray the hope that was once betrayed. And may we never lose the freedom that was once denied. Once again, Mr. President, welcome home to your chamber, which is not only the heartbeat of our nation's democracy, but your political home. We now have the singular privilege and honor to invite you to address your people. Thank you, Mr. President.